This is a really easy tutorial, especially for beginners, on how to contour and highlight your face. Stay till the end for a few additional tips on how to get a seamless look like this. First, you need two shades. You need a highlight shade and a contour shade. Highlight is the light color, contour is the dark color. For the light shade, you want to go 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape. This is definitely more than 2 shades lighter than my skin tone, but I really want you to be able to see the difference. So we're going to start with the light shade, which is the highlight color. Often that can be your concealer, because usually that tends to be 1 or 2 shades lighter than your skin tone anyways. First, we're going to apply under our eyes. You can either go in directly with the wand or use a brush. I recommend using a brush, but if you don't have one, you can use the wand that's on your concealer. I like to highlight here because I have some bags and darkness under my eyes. And then if you want to lift your eyes, you can go like this. Now, if you want to use a brush, use the wand or whatever you have, put it on the back of your hand, and use a flat brush like this. It's just a little bit more precise, and you don't use as much product. Next, you can apply on your forehead. So I typically just do like a little star, or this isn't a star, but whatever it is. And then you can go down the center of your nose. And then you'll just do your chin. Now, to enhance your contour color, which we haven't applied yet, you can highlight this area of your cheek. To blend the concealer, you want to keep the product in the area that you applied it. So you don't want to spread it all across your face. My favorite way to blend out concealer is with a beauty blender, or you can do a brush. And for that, I would use like a stiff round brush like this. This is the Zoeva 142. First, we'll use the brush side. See how I'm keeping it all in the same area? And I'm like almost bouncing it. I'm not like spreading it all over. The next way is with a beauty blender. So you're just pushing it into the skin. If you're finding this tutorial useful, make sure to subscribe for more makeup tips. Now we're gonna use the contour color, or the dark shade. This should be 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. Again, I will apply with a brush and then directly with the applicator. First, we're gonna start with the cheek, and you will apply directly on your cheekbone. You can find your cheekbone basically right where your ear connects to your face, at the top of your ear. So right here, for me, like my cheekbone's right here. So I'm gonna apply right on my cheekbone. And you're gonna stop right where your eye, like the middle of your eye. Because when you blend out, it's gonna spread a little bit, and if you bring it in too much, it's just, that's not the natural way light will hit your face. So it will look a little bit unnatural. But if you like doing it that way, you can. But this is how I do it. Only bringing it to the center of your eye also gives you a lifted effect. Next, we can apply along the forehead. What do you find most challenging about contouring? Let me know in the comments below. And then you're gonna apply along the jawline. You're gonna apply actually on your jawline, or on your jaw. Like find your jawbone, and that's where you're gonna apply. So for me, it's here. And we'll go probably like to here. I won't go all the way into my chin. So see how you can, and already when you look, you can tell the difference. And now we'll use a brush to contour the other side. I like using a brush like this. It's like an angled brush, flat brush, or you can use something like this. It's like flat. You can kind of tell. So I'm just go like this into the product. Again, using a brush, you just don't use as much product. Again, applying along my jawline. See, it's just more precise. And then along my forehead. And then for the nose contour, I highly recommend using a brush, not going in straight with this because it's gonna just be much harder to blend out, and it will just look better doing that. So I suggest like a flat brush like this. This is the Vanity Makeup Cosmetics nose brush, or a brush like this. I think this is just one I got off Amazon. You can see. Or you can even just go in like with a flat brush like this. Anything that's really thin. I'm just going into the product. And then you're just following your nose bone. I don't know what that's called. And then I like doing a little bit here because it gives my nose a little bit of a lift. Now this is very basic tutorial, and this is great for beginners. There's a million different ways you can contour your nose, but this is, you know, the general way to do it. Now for blending out the contour, I highly recommend using a dense brush like this. This is the Vanity Makeup Cosmetics contour brush. Real Techniques has one that's really good. So again, we're keeping the product in the same place. You don't want to move it around too much. You want to keep it where you placed it. So see how I'm kind of just like pushing it in? And I'm not bringing it too much farther in, like on purpose. It just kind of blends in there that way. And then you're gonna blend into the hairline. Again, trying to keep the product as close to where you put it. When you're blending your cheek and forehead, you always wanna blend more upwards while trying to keep the product in the same place. And for the jawline, you wanna keep it as close to where you put it, but you can bring it down a little bit to create that shadow. But again, you're keeping it as close to where you put it on initially. See, just using a brush, not as much product comes out, and it's less work blending. Like, look how much thicker that is. But now to blend out your nose, I recommend using a brush or your finger. So use a like dense brush like this. If you don't have a brush, use your finger. So I'm gonna do the brush on one side. See, I'm just keeping it as close to where I put it as possible. Next, you want to make sure everything is blended in. So this side definitely could be blended in more. So my favorite way to do that is with a damp beauty blender. And I just use like the fat part of the beauty blender. I'm going to show you a few extra tips on how to make your entire look very seamless. So watch to the end if you want to see that. The Beauty Blender also will pick up a little product, so if you put a little too much on, this is really great. So these next tips will help everything look super seamless and you'll be ready to go out. Grab a loose powder. You can use pressed powder if you don't have loose, but put a little bit in the cap. Get a powder puff. You can use a powder puff or a brush. And I dip the powder puff into the cap and then I press it onto my hand. So if you really want to brighten your under eyes a little bit more, you place the powder here. And I gently push in. And this really sets and mattifies everything. Nose a little bit. And then if you want to clean up any of your contour, where maybe like you brought it down too much on your cheek, take the point of your sponge and just go like this. Okay, and then you can just wipe it away. Make everything really blend together and seamless. A great way to do that is putting bronzer on. And for that, you're gonna put it just above where you contoured. So I like using a brush like this. And we're gonna test out the Liss bronzer. And what I do, so like your contours here, go kind of right on your cheekbone. And this just warms up the skin. And you're kind of placing it where you put your contour. The bronzer kind of sets the contour in place. And then for the final touches, we're gonna use highlight. We're gonna put that on the high points where the light typically hits your skin. So that will be the cheekbone. Did you know all of these tips or did you learn something? Let me know. If you have any tips too, leave those below. I'm always looking to try new things. The other area that you highlight or highlighted was the bridge of your nose, and you can put a little bit of highlight there. I usually like to use my finger. We gotta set our face because we did put some powder on and we want it to look like it's our natural skin. If you want to learn how to contour your nose, stay tuned because I will have a video on that coming up. I also linked the beginners playlist below, so if you want to check out some of the other videos that might be useful, come back for more.